Dan and his wife are enjoying a joyful moment at the carnival, celebrating their wedding anniversary. Not far from them, a group of punks snaps a photo and starts mocking Dan. He notices right away and steps up, asking them to delete the picture, explaining that it was a private moment between him and his wife.
Hey, that picture you just took, it was kind of a private moment. You mind deleting it?
Yeah, I do.
And as Dan gets closer to confront them, one of them smugly uploads the photo to social media. Dan's wife urges him to let it go, but deep down she wishes he would stand up for himself. Dan ends up doing nothing. He simply stares at the guy, then walks away. Even though he's been publicly humiliated, he keeps his composure and heads home. That night after cleaning up, Dan lies in bed with the image still running through his mind. It's not that he isn't capable of standing up for himself. He just doesn't want to jeopardize the peaceful life he's built. Dan is a top car salesman in Buffalo, New York.
And when you're behind the wheel of a high-performance automobile like this, they know you are that guy. You have that life.
He's number one on his team and well-respected. He and his wife Jessica live a good life, and today is their wedding anniversary. Even though his boss asks him to take promotional photos for the company, Dan says no and rushes home to be with his wife.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, baby, you remembered.
You thought I forgot.
At home, Jessica and their 3 kids, Nina, Kyle, and Max, welcome him. But there's tension in the air. Jessica and Nina are in a disagreement about college. Nina originally planned to attend Stanford for journalism, but now she's decided to go to Southern Iowa University to follow her boyfriend, Trevor.
What happened to journalism at Stanford? Wasn't that the dream?
Journalism is dead, Dad.
What, is that something that Trevor said? Or?
Yeah, really.
Still, Nina remains firm. Later, Dan suggests taking Jessica out to celebrate their 18th anniversary. He asks Kyle to babysit Max, but Kyle refuses, saying he already has plans, and passes the responsibility to Nina, who's not happy about it.
What, because I'm a woman?
That is not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying to me right now.
What is wrong with you?
Meanwhile, Kyle bails on his group project and heads to his friend Samir's place. After handing Samir some money, they hang out in the garage playing online games. Kyle is known on the internet as Killboy, a popular gamer famous for his elite skills in shooting games. Back at the carnival, but Jessica is a little frustrated that Dan always sticks to the same routine.
I kind of feel like we don't really go anywhere.
No one makes a better weekly planner than you do, but be a little bit more spontaneous.
Dan agrees to plan a trip, and the moment makes Jessica excited. They share a kiss, right before the earlier scene with the thugs plays out. On their way back home, Jessica tells Dan that she never expected him to get into a fight.
If I wanted to marry a brawler, I would have.
She knows he hates violence, but inside she still feels a little disappointed. Once they're home, Dan casually and confidently changes Max's diaper. Later, he slips into bed and murmurs to Jessica that he should have kicked that guy's ass.
You totally could have taken him, honey.
The next day, Jessica takes out her frustration in a boxing class. Being a full-time mom comes with constant pressure, especially as she struggles with Nina's recent decisions. While sparring, she accidentally punches a woman named Gwen. Jessica quickly apologizes and admits she's feeling trapped, like her husband never makes time to travel or take the family on vacation.
I don't know, sometimes I guess I just feel like I'm a little trapped.
Gwen listens and understands. Before leaving to catch a flight, she hands Jessica her business card. Gwen, it turns out, is a travel agent, and she offers to help Jessica finally plan that long overdue family vacation. Meanwhile, Dan and Max are at the grocery store when a stranger suddenly attacks. Dan instantly steps in and defends himself, but the thug keeps coming, even with Max right in front.
Really?
Dan takes the guy down with sharp precision, leaving the shoppers stunned. Acting like nothing happened, he pays for the groceries and heads home. Once there, he opens a hidden compartment filled with guns, expired passports, and stacks of cash. Nervously, he calls his old contact, Augie, asking for new identities for his family, revealing they're in danger. Augie warns him that his former boss, McCaffrey, has been looking for him and that the photo posted online might have exposed his location. Dan offers $500,000 for new IDs and sets up a meeting in Las Vegas in 3 days. Augie is shocked that Dan's family doesn't know about his past.
What am I meant to do? Sit him down, tell him the whole story over French toast? Oh, hey kids, you know what? Pass the maple syrup. By the way, your dad was a government assassin.
He urges Dan to tell them the truth, warning that it'll be nearly impossible to outrun McCaffrey's mercenaries while keeping the family in the dark. Later, Dan goes to Nina's school, only to learn from a student that she quit her job at the school magazine 3 months ago. He finds her hanging out at the stadium with friends and confronts her about not telling him. Frustrated, Nina says she quit because he never read her work.
Of course I do. I always do.
Yeah, bullshit.
Dan asks her to come with him as he picks up Kyle. He tracks Kyle down at Samir's garage where he's gaming online. Dan scolds him and demands he get in the car, calling him a traitor. Once everyone's together, Dan picks up Jessica from her job at the hospital. He surprises the family by announcing they're going to Las Vegas for vacation, something Jessica had been hoping for.
Crazy.
Crazy.
We're going to Vegas!
As they drive, Dan notices a black van tailing them. With
Are you taking
Oh, no, this is a shortcut, honey.
Without raising alarm, he speeds up and leads the van to his dealership. Inside, he lifts one of the showroom cars and finds a tracker hidden underneath. Quietly, he slips the device into a different car that his coworker is about to test. He casually suggests they take it for a high-speed run. The people in the van continue following the wrong vehicle. With that handled, Dan hits the road with his family toward Vegas.
What are you doing?
I'm posting about our trip.
This should be a device-free vacation. Give them up now.
What?
Give it up now. All of us, okay? Solidarity, bye!
Back at Dan's house, McCaffrey and his 3 men are trying to locate the family. But with no credit card trail and 0 social media activity, it's tough. McCaffrey suspects Dan hasn't told his family who he really is, and he orders his men to keep looking. During their hotel stay, Dan has a change of heart when he sees Kyle post a photo with fans online. Realizing the risk, he tells the family they need to leave right away. That night, they end up sleeping in the car. Soon, 3 of McCaffrey's men on motorcycles begin chasing them. Dan turns up the music to keep the family distracted. Little Max, wide awake and giggling, seems to trust that Dan has it all under control. Suddenly, one of the bikers fires at the car, but Dan shoots back and takes him out. Another jumps on the vehicle, but Dan jams Max's baby bottle into his helmet, knocking him off balance and sending him flying. Finally, Dan rams into the last biker, ending the chase. Jessica wakes up from the noise, but Dan calmly says it was just a pothole. He drives through the night and pulls into a plantation to rest. As he's about to fall asleep, Nina wakes up and realizes they've arrived in Iowa.
Oh my God, Jesus.
Oh my God, Iowa.
Iowa?
Yeah.
She asks Dan to drop her at Southern Iowa University to see her boyfriend.
Are you serious? Are we going to argue about this, about you following a boy to college?
After arguing with Jessica, Dan reluctantly agrees. While walking through the campus with Kyle and Max, Nina seems nervous. Kyle tells her the family is worried about her and Trevor. He says he misses the Nina who was close with them.
Plus, he treats you like shit. You deserve more.
Touched by his words, Nina smiles and thanks her brother. Meanwhile, Dan listens as Jessica opens up about her past, how she once dreamed of being a pole vaulter but had to give it up after a serious leg injury. Dan wants to share something about his own past too, but holds back when he notices a suspicious man nearby carrying a briefcase and approaching someone on campus. Dan finds out the man claims to be a German corn seed salesman looking for his daughter. As they walk past the lab, Dan starts to doubt his story and tests him by speaking in German.
Just getting to know this fella here, all the way from Stuttgart, Germany.
Jessica is shocked to hear her husband speaking German and walks away, leaving them alone. The man opens his briefcase. It's full of corn seeds. Dan believes him. Suddenly, one of McCaffrey's henchmen appears and tries to shoot Dan. He quickly dives into the lab where a fight breaks out.
Biology labs are over there.
Dan overpowers the attacker and takes him down. Meanwhile, Nina returns to her dorm, but walks into Trevor's room and finds him with another girl.
Oh my God. You're cheating on me.
Devastated, she runs out crying. Dan tries to comfort her with advice, but quickly realizes that's not what she needs. Instead, he shows her a martial arts move that causes sharp pain without real injury. Nina uses it on Trevor, snaps a photo of his twisted expression, and walks away feeling much better. She rejoins the family van, more grateful for her dad than ever. As the family continues toward Las Vegas, they pass through Colorado. Nina takes over the wheel and apologizes to Dan for not taking her school magazine seriously. She promises to go back to being the magazine's editor and thanks him for not telling her mom.
I'm your biggest fan, Beans. Always have been and I always will be.
The next day, after staying overnight in Colorado, Dan contacts Augie to confirm the pickup in Vegas. Sitting in a restaurant, Dan is ready to finally tell Jessica the truth about his past. But Kyle interrupts, opening up about why he loves being an online gamer. He admits he's shy and invisible in real life, but becomes confident and admired when he plays as Killboy.
When I'm Kyle, I'm too shy to talk to girls. I'm a nobody. When I'm Killboy, I'm good, Dad.
Kyle also tries to convince Dan that gaming isn't just playing, it takes brains and skill. Then he challenges his dad to a laser tag match. If Kyle wins, Dan can't stop him from gaming anymore. If he loses, he'll quit. Dan agrees, unaware that his past has made him deadly accurate. They play, and Kyle loses easily. Feeling down, he's comforted when Dan gives him a heartfelt hug.
Home stretch, you ready?
Vegas! Are you ready?
Maxie! Vegas!
After arriving in Las Vegas, the family checks into their hotel. Dan later meets Augie at the bar, and they go together to collect the new passports and flight tickets to Vancouver.
Try to get out of Vegas or something, huh?
I promise nothing.
When Dan returns, he gets ready for dinner with Jessica and hides a few weapons, just in case. Before leaving, he reminds the kids not to leave the room.
You do not open that door for anyone. You got it?
Screw that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go!
But of course, Kyle, Nina, and Max sneak out to explore the hotel's gaming zone. Elsewhere, one of McCaffrey's men spots Dan and his family and reports their location back to the boss. At the gaming area, Kyle meets a pro gamer named Ren, who invites him to a nearby restaurant to meet other players. Meanwhile, Dan tries again to open up to Jessica, but when the waiter speaks French, Dan instinctively replies in perfect French. Jessica is surprised. She didn't know Dan spoke 2 foreign languages. Still unable to confess the truth, Dan continues explaining, in French. Jessica doesn't understand the words, but finds his tone and charm irresistible. Meanwhile, Kyle gets ready to join an online game. Ren asks him to take over so he can talk to Nina, unaware that McCaffrey's men are secretly watching from a distance. After dinner, Jessica and Dan return to their hotel room and are momentarily fooled by mannequins posed to look like they're sleeping kids. To set the mood, Jessica plays music and uses a romantic mist. Thanks to the fog, Dan notices a laser sight in time to dodge a bullet. He throws a wine bottle and fires his gun, setting the attackers on fire. But when Coogan, McCaffrey's man, grabs Jessica and holds her hostage, Dan immediately drops his weapon. Seizing his chance, Dan hurls a knife into Coogan's eye, saving Jessica.
Oh, that's normal, honey. Everybody barfs the first time.
He rushes to check on the kids but finds their room empty. He and Jessica search the hotel's gaming venue, where she angrily confronts Dan about hiding the truth and says she doesn't want to see him again. Meanwhile, Kyle wins the gaming tournament and becomes MVP. Dan and Jessica soon find the kids and bring them to safety. There, Dan finally reveals the truth. He used to be a government assassin who fled his old life. Ever since, McCaffrey has been after him. Kyle and Nina don't believe it at first, until gunshots interrupt them. Dan tells the family to hide in the casino and tries to fight off McCaffrey's men, but their bulletproof vests give them the upper hand. Dan distracts and eventually defeats them. Later, he confesses his real name is Sam. He once served in the military before McCaffrey recruited him for off-the-record hits, but Sam learned McCaffrey was exploiting him to kill for profit, so he vanished. Since then, McCaffrey has been hunting him, putting his family at risk.
Well, how many?
26.
You've killed 26 people?
No. 39 people.
That's more! Total dead people, Dan.
43. They were all bad.
Sam made fake passports for a new life, but Kyle and Nina feel betrayed, thinking their lives are ruined.
Thanks, Dad.
To tell us what to do anymore. Ever.
After 18 years of marriage, Jessica is devastated. She contacts Gwen and plans a vacation without Sam.
Where are you going?
Far from here, far from you.
What other arrangements?
Sorry, Dan, can't say. It's to protect you.
Jess, please, it's not safe.
Then handle it. Make it safe.
When Jessica and the kids meet Gwen, they're surprised she's arranged a private jet. On the flight, Gwen opens up about her ex in Buffalo, how he left her for another woman who, to make things worse, is unbearable. Jessica realizes Gwen is talking about Dan. When they land, Jessica plans to leave with the kids, but McCaffrey suddenly shows up. Gwen has set a trap, trading Dan's family to McCaffrey in exchange for Dan.
I just want Sean. He's my payment for delivery.
McCaffrey takes Jessica and the kids hostage. Soon after, McCaffrey contacts Dan and threatens his family's lives. When Dan arrives, drones track his entrance. He meets a man named Spiros, who leads him to McCaffrey's room. Inside, McCaffrey greets Dan.
No hug for your old man.
Why start now, Dad?
During their talk, Dan's family discovers that McCaffrey is his father.
Oh my God, we're British.
McCaffrey wants Dan dead for betraying him, but also admires how Dan eliminated every hitman sent after him. Now, McCaffrey offers him a deal.
Now you don't want to kill me, and what the hell do you want?
I want you back. So I want my son back, working by my side in the family business.
But Dan can never see them again. Dan agrees, and Spiros leads the family to the elevator. Inside, Jessica uses Max's diaper as a distraction and pushes Spiros off the top floor. They rush back to rescue Dan. In the room, Dan pretends to be in love with Gwen, then knocks her out so his family can escape. He apologizes to Jessica for hiding the truth and promises to always be honest from now on. Meanwhile, McCaffrey senses something's wrong and orders his men to prepare. Dan tells Jessica and the kids to get to the rooftop and gives Kyle the drone controller to help track enemy positions.
Look, I need to be that guy one last time. For us.
McCaffrey's men wait by the elevator to ambush Dan's family, but find only Max's belongings inside. As they investigate, a bomb goes off, catching them by surprise. With Kyle's help tracking their moves, Dan takes out the henchmen one by one. Meanwhile, Gwen regains consciousness and McCaffrey calls her, ordering her to locate Kyle, who is operating the drone from the rooftop. Dan confronts McCaffrey with a gun, urging his father to put an end to everything, but McCaffrey commands his men to open fire. Dan narrowly avoids their bullets. Up on the rooftop, Jessica notices the elevator ascending. She quickly hides the children and prepares to defend them. As the doors slide open, she fires, only to see Gwen calmly stepping aside. Gwen mocks Jessica, clearly confident in her superior combat skills. Despite Jessica's determination, Gwen gains the upper hand, eventually burying her under debris. Elsewhere, McCaffrey overpowers Dan and has a clear shot, but chooses to monologue about how family has weakened him. At the same time, Gwen corners the kids. The threat to her children gives Jessica the strength to lift herself from under the rubble, though Gwen continues tossing her around with ease. Meanwhile, Dan removes the bullets from McCaffrey's gun, forcing them into close-quarters combat. Jessica grabs a bamboo pole and tries to pole vault, but fails.
Here we go again.
Gwen laughs, until Jessica hurls the pole like a javelin.
There's 9 other events, bitch!
Despite everything, McCaffrey defeats Dan and reaches for a gun to kill him. Just then, the family rushes in. Nina steps forward and tells McCaffrey she's glad to have found her grandfather, proposing they could live a normal life.
When I look at you, I don't just see a cold-blooded killer. I see my grandpa.
Her words distract McCaffrey long enough for Dan to fight back. Nina's gesture buys Dan the time he needs. Finally, the family is reunited as the police arrive and arrest McCaffrey for his crimes. 6 months later, Nina fulfills her dream of becoming a news reporter, covering the story of McCaffrey's assassin network. Dan opens a bank security consulting firm and hires Augie. Jessica becomes a sports coach at a local school. In their free time, the family goes on road trips with one simple rule: no phones allowed. They treasure every moment together and never forget to pack diapers. They just might save your life and help defeat the bad guys. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.